It's Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month, so today we're going to reduce the stigma around it, specifically the non-motor symptoms, including hallucinations and delusions. So joining us now to discuss this new campaign that's going to help with that is Dr. Gus Alva. He's an assistant professor at the University of California, Riverside Medical School, among other things. And Michelle Rios, she's a bilingual caregiver to her mother who passed away from Parkinson's disease complications. And you also help out in other ways, and we'll get to know you there as well. And I'm so sorry to hear about your mother, but Dr. Alva, I do want to start with you. What are the non-motor symptoms of Parkinson's disease, and why are people reluctant to tell their doctor if they're having these symptoms?
Well, the non-motor symptoms of Parkinson's disease are sometimes unrecognized as part of the illness. And unfortunately, these non-motor symptoms as a whole can be more troublesome than motor symptoms. Most people recognize when their loved one is having stiffness, rigidity, maybe tremor, and their gait's impaired. But when people start complaining of things like constipation or depression or memory problems, and probably the scariest thing would be hallucinations or delusions, they don't necessarily equate that this is part of this neurodegenerative condition. So yours truly is a bilingual and multicultural educational campaign to destigmatize these non-motor symptoms of Parkinson's disease.
Can you give us some of the examples then of hallucinations and delusions associated with this so we can let people know, okay, if they have this symptom, then they need to talk to their doctor? And how common is this actually?
You bet. Imagine seeing out your window and seeing people that aren't really there. Imagine you're staring at a belt and you think it's a snake. Imagine the individual that is sitting down and they feel that there's people in their periphery, but can't identify whether there's someone there. So these are truly scary symptoms, right? And this campaign, sponsored by Acadia Pharmaceuticals in collaboration with StoryCorps, is truly a campaign that uses storytelling to highlight these different symptoms that individuals may have experienced or family members may have seen. And bear in mind, these are issues through which you note across all cultures, including minority communities. And so this particular program is earmarked to help destigmatize and help shatter some of the doubts that exist at the present time regarding these non-motor symptoms. So raising awareness is really at the core of this Yours Truly campaign, which can be found at yourstrulypdp.com.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for helping us get the word out. Michelle, now I want to turn to you. What role did you and your family have in recognizing the Parkinson's symptoms in your mother?
When my mom first started exhibiting symptoms, we did not recognize them as Parkinson's symptoms. There was a definite change in her appearance, but we didn't know exactly what. It took almost a year for her to get the diagnosis, but once we got that diagnosis, we really began to research and learn as much as we could about Parkinson's. We started to recognize the symptoms she was having, such as the rigidity, slowness of movement, and fatigue. But we also learned about the non-motor symptoms she was experiencing, such as sleep disturbances and depression and constipation. Learning about the symptoms, we also learned about therapies and treatments that were out there that could help her manage the symptoms.
So then, what, with your experience with her and what she went through, what do you want those impacted by Parkinson's disease to be aware of when they're caring for a loved one who has been dealing with something like this and maybe experiencing even hallucinations, I should say?
I think it's really important to learn as much as you can about Parkinson's. My mom was afraid to learn about what could possibly happen to her in the future, but learning about it will also help prepare yourself for those symptoms and help you prepare to find resources. It's also really important to build a support system. It's important to have communication with your family and with your physician. I also really want caregivers to know that it can be difficult to take care of somebody with Parkinson's, in the sense that it's difficult to see your loved one see your experience the symptoms and progress in the disease, but it's also a time that you'll also witness a lot of great strength, perseverance, and love and support.
Well, knowledge is power, as they say. So like you're saying, just get the information out there so people know what to look for and where to go to get the resources. And speaking of that, where can we go to learn a little bit more about this and even the campaign?
Well, we made mention, yourstrulypdp.com is an important resource. And, again, individuals can get information there in English or in Spanish. It's a website in which individuals can listen to the stories of other people coping with these non-motor symptoms. Because, Jordan, believe it or not, 1 out of 2 individuals with Parkinson's will develop these hallucinations and delusions, but 9 out of 10 people don't necessarily proactively speak about their symptoms. So this is an opportunity to be a part of a library of stories and thus create a legacy within the Parkinson's community.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm so glad we're getting out the word. We're talking about this new campaign. So thank you both so much for joining us today.
A pleasure.
And if you'd like to see this segment again, just head to our website, and that's firstcoastliving.net.